literally could not sleep a couple nights because I had watched this video so many times.
Hola! What's up, you guys? I'm Emilia. Today I'm here with a solo video. No Bradley today. Sorry for all of you Bradley fans. I want to talk about something a little bit, I can't really say different to this channel because we haven't really talked about anything yet, but I want to introduce a new concept to the channel, which is kind of conspiracy theories and kind of creepy things. I'll be definitely doing a couple creepy videos. I'm going to drag Brad into a couple of them. So I'll explain in a minute what I'm going to be doing, but first I want to talk about something that I thought was important. I was talking to Brad about it, and he said he didn't really think I had to open up about it because people probably thought nothing of it. But I just wanted to explain myself just in case. So in our first video, I said that one of my favorite movies was Gone with the Wind. Me being a white person who grew up watching this movie and didn't think anything of it, saw it from a female perspective instead of a colored perspective. I acknowledged the concept of slavery in it. Some people, like Queen Latifah, was going off about how it's horrible. I didn't see it that way, and again, maybe it's because I'm white. Nobody ever educated me on this stuff. But Gone with the Wind did. I know that might be something controversial to say, that, hey, this movie that all these black people are hating on because of its portrayal for slavery was good for me, but it did really educate me on slavery and how it worked back in the days. I remember, what was her name? Prissy. She pissed me off growing up. And I was like, why the hell is she doing that? Like, a woman is giving birth here. Like, smarten up and actually do something. So I dug into that a little bit. And I found out that slaves actually did that on purpose. Whether or not Prissy was doing it on purpose, I don't know. But I did learn that some slaves decided to be purposefully useless. Like, they just decided to do that so that their owners would be like, hey, I can't use you because you're so dumb. And that's what made them so smart. Like, they weren't actually dumb. They were just doing it to make their owner so mad that they would not have a reason to fight for slavery anymore. Just to get back on topic, I digress a little bit. I found Gone with the Wind very educational. I found it interesting from a woman's perspective. I don't really know how to look at it from a black person's perspective because I myself am not black. To anybody who thinks it's an offensive movie, I'm sorry. Maybe you can educate me a little bit more on that, but I found it less of a racist portrayal and more of an educational thing. It made me want to do my research. It made me want to look into things a little bit more, and it made me understand, like, slave culture a little bit more. And it brought me onto the path of wanting to do a little bit more research into it, taking history classes, all that kind of thing. So, now that I've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to pin my hair back because it looks actually kind of cute, like kind of living, but I'm doing makeup today, so I'm going to have to clip those back because I need them out of my face. Oh, that looks bad. Okay, cute. So today we are going to be talking about The Wizard of Oz, another 1939 movie. Now that I've discussed Gone with the Wind a little bit, time to talk about a movie who was worked on by the same directors, which I will get into in a little bit, and was a disaster. But I don't know. Okay, trigger warning, because I do have mentions of suicide in this video, and very bad mistreatment of cast members and just people in general. Discrimination against little people. I believe little people is the respectful term. If it's not, somebody please let me know and I will stop using that term. I don't want to offend anybody. That's just what I've been told is okay to say. So today I'm going to be doing my makeup and explaining the conspiracy theory behind the hanging munchkin. I've done a lot of research on this, so I don't know. Like, I don't know what I believe. Let me just get my makeup started, actually, so I can dive right into this. So there's a conspiracy theory going around with The Wizard of Oz that during the iconic yellow brick road scene. In the background was a hanging body. Now, I will show clips. I'll put flashes of trigger warnings beforehand because they are daunting. I literally could not sleep a couple nights because of this image, but like just watching basically a man hanging. It might have been a girl, but the thing is, the females in the movie tended to have poofier dresses. Like, they definitely had petticoats, they definitely had underskirts, so it would have had to have been a man. The thing is, I'm not too sure if it even is a munchkin. Like, nobody can make up their mind over whether or not it was a person hanging. So I'm gonna insert the clip here so you can see for yourself. So I came across this clip because my friend Georgia, who in my phone is home slice, just for screenshot purposes, she texted us this screenshot. And in the screenshot, like before the screenshot, she was like, so hey, a munchkin hanged themselves on the set of Wizard of Oz, and they just left it in. And I was like, what? So I was looking at the screenshot because I instantly became obsessed with this story. I literally did research for like 3 hours. Give me some credit, it's quarantine, I was really bored, I was procrastinating doing schoolwork. So what better to do when procrastinating schoolwork than to do research into conspiracy theories? I was looking at the screenshot a little bit more closely. And I looked at the bottom because there was another picture. And I saw that there was not a person in that screenshot. So I was looking, and I was like, that's interesting. Wonder how the hanging person got from the middle of the screen to the bottom of that tree. So I'll show you that picture now, and then I'll put them side by side so you can see. Isn't that crazy? So that put me
down the rabbit hole.
And when I say down the rabbit hole, I mean I was sending spam texts to all of my friends explaining this conspiracy theory. I was crazy about it. That's all my life was that day, was that. My dad and I got into so many fights because he was like, no, it's a bird. So let me get into that. Let me get into the whole debunking thing. Everybody's like,
no, it's not a munchkin. Like, the munchkins weren't even on set that day. You can't say it's a munchkin because the scene was filmed before the munchkins were actually on set.
However, there were several times that the directors of this movie changed. So earlier when I said that one of the directors had worked on Gone with the Wind, that director actually had just left Wizard of Oz. So when they switched, the new director was like, hey,
I hate everything about this movie. Let's refilm everything.
So they filmed every scene that Judy Garland was in because they basically hated her makeup. And so it was very possible that a munchkin could have been on set that day. This whole thing was shot at MGM in one of their studios, I believe Studio 4. Yeah, so I just think it's so crazy, and people are like, no, it couldn't have happened. Like, how could everybody have seen this? First of all, we don't know how many people were on set because they had already filmed this scene, perhaps. Maybe they had already filmed it. I don't know that for sure because I couldn't find a schedule online, but it's very possible that they did refilm this scene. That being said, there probably wouldn't have been as many people because let's think money. It was 1939. This was the first Technicolor movie ever to be released. To reshoot something at the time would have been expensive in itself. To reshoot something in color would have been even worse. So probably to save money, I would assume that they wouldn't have as many people on set. I might be wrong, but that makes sense to me. Like, why would they have unnecessary personnel on set at that time if they were reshooting and they already knew everything they were doing? That just doesn't make sense to me. So that's one argument debunked. That's at least my perspective from it. Like, if you don't believe me, you go off, have your own opinions. I don't really care. Second of all, even if there were so many people, like, you think people were paying attention? That set was fucked. Judy Garland was hyped up on pep pills, like sleeping pills. She took sleeping pills every night to go to bed, and then pep pills every morning to wake up and get back to work. Okay, so there's a clip, and everybody's like, hey, she looks back because she sees the dead person hanging, and then just doesn't say anything. And that could make sense, because yes, she's hopped up on drugs, but also one of the directors, or maybe the producer, slapped her for breaking character during the Cowardly Lions entry scene. So it's very possible that she could have seen something and just not broken character because she was afraid of her repercussions. Because, as I said, nobody on this set was really well treated at all. Okay, so let's get on to the treatment of munchkins for a second. So little people at the time were just generally not very well treated in society. During the Great Depression, which was like right before, like it probably had just ended before The Wizard of Oz was being filmed. The only work they could get was in sideshows. And I'm going to assume that had been a thing for way longer than just the Great Depression. But yeah, like people saw them as freaks. Like the Munchkins were paid less than Toto. Don't you think that could have led to someone killing themselves? Like, so if it was a Munchkin hanging, theoretically, like there were like I think 124 Munchkins on the set of Wizard of Oz. It would have been impossible to keep track of 124 people. Generally, they were troubled people. It's been said that some of the little people didn't behave properly around Judy Garland and tried to get up her skirt, like touched her butt all the time. I think it was said in Judy Garland's husband's biography, but it was never proven. But yeah, generally they were drinking. They had to hire people to keep an eye on them. Like they had to bail people out of jail during the movie time. And at the time, suicide wasn't really talked about, so it wasn't really a thing that you could just stand up and be like, hey, I'm having bad thoughts. People would be like, okay. If it was a man, first of all, they'd been like, you're a man, toughen up. If it was a girl, you would have been deemed psychotic, pretty much. Yeah, the time itself, I think, speaks for this issue. I do believe that the time period could be evidence of this being true. Honestly, I was kind of sold when I first saw the first clip. Like, the way it dangles, the way it moves. So getting into it being, like, fake or a hoax, because there was a YouTube channel called Suicidal Munchkin. It's not there anymore. I don't know what happened to it. Like, in my research, I was trying to find it, but the YouTube channel is just not there. But I found the clip that is apparently from their YouTube channel, and it is the clip of the Munchkin hanging. So I think that clip first, surfaced on YouTube in 2008. Originally from that YouTube channel. It was supposedly from an original VHS before the refurbished version. 1989 was the refurbished version. It's very possible that MGM saw it and was like, hey, we already refilmed this, we can't afford to do it again, this was the best take, let's just use it and hope that nobody pays attention, because in 1939 there was no way to go back and rewatch it. And there was no way to pause TVs, there was no way to rewind and go see it again. The only way that you would be able to see it was by buying another ticket and going to see it in theaters again. So it could have been a good marketing scheme, theoretically. In the original clip I showed you, that was supposedly from the 1939 version. I haven't been able to get a copy of it myself. I have one at my Nana's house, but I'm going to assume that it was the 1989 version, because I think the version before the refurbishing might be really hard to get a hold of. What MGM said was,
oh, that's a bird. We went to the zoo and we got some birds and we had them on set.
Maybe you did have some birds on set. Let's say that's true. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Why is it hanging like that? Tell me that when you look at this photo, that is a bird. I'm sorry, that is a human being. And if you don't agree, you probably need to go see an optometrist. However, if it's a hoax, like, I don't have anything to say against whether or not it's a hoax. My only thing is, like, first of all, why would anybody go to the trouble to editing that in? Like, look at the way it sways. That's not something that you can just edit in. Like, maybe if it was just there in the background, like just a photo that they put for every clip, sure, maybe. I'd be okay with that, saying that's a hoax. Like, even in YouTube, though, I just don't understand why anybody would go to those lengths to do that. People are saying, hey, it's a bird, hey, it's this, hey, it's that. In the 1989 version, it's a bird. But the only version I've been able to find with the original color grading is the one with the munchkin hanging.
As you can see here, the picture with the munchkin hanging is a lot duller and a lot less defined in color and structure, whereas the one with the bird is a lot more edited, and it's definitely been refurbished from the original, which is the whole point. But as you can see, it's very possible that they just edited over with color over the munchkin and added a bird.
People are saying that the tree that it's hanging from was painted. If that's an argument, it can't be an argument, because in the clip of the ostrich or whatever bird, big bird that is, you see it extend its wing and it goes past one of the trees. So if it was painted, that wouldn't happen. It would go over a tree, but instead it goes behind a tree. So that's just me debunking that. See, here's the thing, because I don't know, because everybody who's saying that the clip is fake is saying that the one with the ostrich is real, which means that that must be fake too. So what are they hiding? Like, all I don't understand is if they have nothing to hide, why are they covering it up? You know what I mean? Let's get into Snopes for a bit, because my dad was like, no, Snopes debunked it. Like, Snopes is always right. Snopes is not right, okay? They said it was a bird. However, let's talk about their other excuses, because we've heard that it's a bird before. What we haven't heard is,
oh, it's a stagehand falling from a tree.
no. Honey, it takes one look of that video to see that that is not a person falling out of a tree. It is somebody dangling from a tree by a rope by their neck. Their stories aren't adding up. And that's all that's making me a little bit upset, is that I can't find any proof disproving that this actually happened, but I can't find any proof proving that it did. So I literally tried to find certificates of death for every single munchkin. I couldn't even find the names of all of them. They're not even listed in the cast. I can't believe it. They were so mistreated, which did make me a little bit more suspicious, because how did they die? Show me some proof that one of them didn't commit suicide on set. Researching this was like being a snowball and falling down a hill. I just collected more and more and more snow until I was just this big ball of information that I didn't know what to do with. So I'm doing this with it.
Hope you're enjoying.
Nobody has ever stepped up and said, hey, no, this is a hoax. I made this in my basement with some low-grade movie editor, because at the time, there was no good movie editors. I just don't see how anybody would have had the technology or the understanding, unless there was just like Bill Gates sitting in his basement like doing it. But in that case, why wouldn't you take your knowledge and go do something useful, like do something that will make you money? You don't, like, the person who did this probably didn't make any money off of this hoax. So that's what I don't understand, is why would someone do that unless they were gonna make money off of it? But that seems like a lot of work just to like confuse a bunch of people, you know? So I really want to get my hands on an official 1930s copy of The Wizard of Oz, so I can see, well, like, obviously not 1930s, but I believe VHS was like early 80s, late 70s. But I want to get my hands on a copy so bad, so that I can see for myself. Our email is going to be in the bottom of this. If you have a VHS that came before the 1989 refurbishing, email me and let me know. I will reply as soon as possible, and I will want a video from you, because I desperately do want to see this. That's pretty much it for the munchkin stuff. I do have a little bit of information just so I can finish up my makeup look for the rest of the cast, because they were not well treated either. Judy Garland, how she was like hooked on drugs for a while because they couldn't handle her being tired. how she was slapped because she kept giggling because she was a teenage girl. The Tin Man, he was very, very sick because they put aluminum in his makeup, which for the time probably wasn't uncommon, but it just wasn't safe. The snow in the poppy field scene was asbestos, and very possibly could have caused cancer. The Wicked Witch, played by Margaret Hamilton, I want to say, got third-degree burns because of a tech malfunction during a stunt, which I will put here. I'll show you. Yeah, they ended up using the rehearsal clip of that because they couldn't use the real clip because it sent her to the hospital with third-degree burns. And then it happened again to the next Wicked Witch, who got burns on her legs because the it was some tech thing that I don't really understand, but the broom blew up and burnt her legs.
So that's really fun.
The Cowardly Lion almost choked to death, or was it the Scarecrow? Someone almost choked to death because they physically could not breathe in their costume. Somebody might have died on set, and nobody said anything about it. Like I said, little people were highly discriminated against. So say it was a munchkin who hanged themselves on the set, nobody would have said anything because they weren't really as important as normal-sized people. And I say that in quotations because obviously everybody's important. Also, this looks really bad. Just wait until I can angle the camera because I am currently using
2 Twilight books
to hold the camera up because I don't have a tripod. Also, I'm doing like a Wizard of Oz kind of look. I'm doing the green for the Wicked Witch in the Emerald City, the yellow for the Yellow Brick Road. I'm gonna do some red lips for the Ruby Slippers, which were supposed to be silver, by the way, but the egos of the movie makers, which are another point I want to make, they wanted to show off the Technicolor so bad that they changed the shoe color of the iconic story, just to be like,
Hey, look at the tech we have here.
so they changed the story, which obviously is not as drastic as covering up a death. But if they were so excited to show off their Technicolor, like, honestly, like, in the world we're living in right now, do you doubt that something like this could have gotten away with? Like, police officers are killing people. They're just getting away with it without being jailed, without any repercussions. So I think it's quite possible that a big shot movie maker and movie studio could have gotten away with something like this back in the day. Because who was going to find out and stop them? You know, like, I keep going back to the fact that it's freaking dangling, man. Like, that's crazy to me, is just the way it dangles. The only thing I've ever seen that moves in that way is the scene from the Phantom of the Opera where the man is hanged in the middle of a ballet. And that was a movie recreating a hanging. Maybe someone edited it, maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems so unlikely at this point that they would edit something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments. I'm really not sure what to believe. I think I believe that it happened. These glasses are so big that I literally need 2 hands to apply them. Oh, they are so pretty. I don't know if I have much else to say on the hanging munchkin matter. And I've kind of explained all the other screwed up things that happened on that set. Is this one? Why did I apply this one so much better? Is this not bigger? Oh my god. I think I've just had... I feel like I look possessed. Or did I just do a really shitty job with my makeup? Okay, I'm popping on a lip now. Okay, these lashes are ridiculous. I'm taking them off and putting on mascara. I'm sorry.
Like, yeah, you should be sorry. They didn't look bad. What was I thinking? They actually looked kind of cute. I ruined the look by taking them off.
That looks a little bit better. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other, like, conspiracies you'd like me to dig into and talk about, I definitely will. I'm completely interested in stuff like that. If you have any like murder cases you'd like me to go over, I will. If you have any ghost stories you'd like to share with the comments below, maybe I'll make a video reacting to them. That could be fun. I have a video of my ghost stories coming out. But yeah, thanks for watching, even if I do look ridiculous, which I think I do. Support Black Lives Matter. Go follow Brad and I on Instagram. Links will be in the bio. So yeah.